So hi everybody, like Jaeger mentioned, my name is David Stewart. I'm a sales engineer for JetBrains Americas. I work with our on-premise and TeamCity Cloud customers here in the US and Canada. Coming to you today from Chicago, so don't let the Boston flag in the background fool you. What I want to do today is take you through how we handle licensing and pricing in TeamCity Cloud. As Jaeger mentioned, it is a little bit different than our on-premise product, but we do believe there are advantages, and this is going to be a good solution for both new customers and maybe some customers who might want to transition from our on-premise solution. A little bit later on in the presentation, I'm going to bring in my colleague, Daniel Gallo. He's going to help us answer some of the frequently asked questions around the licensing model. But what I want to do first is take you through the website. If you have questions about the licensing, the pricing, or really about anything regarding TeamCity Cloud in general, there are a lot of avenues for you to get in touch with our team to get answer to those questions. So from the TeamCity Cloud website, we do have a request info button at the top. This is a simple web form. You can fill out the information, and a member of our team will get in touch to answer any questions you have. But you can engage with us through any of our communication channels, technical support, our sales web forms, email address, Twitter. Somehow it'll find its way into one of our inbox. So from the TeamCity Cloud website, you can get started with TeamCity Cloud for free. It does not require a credit card. We give customers a 14-day free trial period that does include access to build resources, so you can test out your build, add new users, make sure that users are comfortable in it. If you have additional evaluation requirements, again, I'd encourage you to get in touch with us so we can have a conversation about what's going to work best for you and your team in TeamCity Cloud. So if we scroll down the TeamCity Cloud website, you will notice we have a pricing calculator. This is what you can use to estimate your costs in TeamCity Cloud and also see more information about how you can utilize resources in the environment. So TeamCity Cloud licensing is based on the number of committers in your organization. So when we're talking about committers, what we mean is anyone who are authoring code changes and making at least 10 commits in a given month. So this is roughly going to equate to the number of developers in your team. Committers are the only users you need these slots for, the only users you're going to license in TeamCity Cloud. We don't restrict the number of web users you can sign up in the interface. So anyone can have an account in TeamCity Cloud, and that's going to give them access to view the build results that Marco was showing us earlier, edit build configurations, download artifacts. Those users are unlimited in TeamCity Cloud. So the committers themselves, they start at $15 per month per committer, and along with each of those committers that you add a subscription plan for, you get a set of build resources that scale linearly along with your committer count. So those build resources include things like your artifact storage, your data transfer per month. This is going to allow you to download artifacts from the URL, access the page, etc. But importantly, one of your build resources that you get with each of these committers is your build credits. So build credits act as a sort of currency in TeamCity Cloud. You can redeem your build credits for build time on the JetBrains hosted agents, and you can also exchange your build credits for self-hosted agents, which we'll talk about in a minute. So focusing first on the JetBrains hosted build agents. So as Marco mentioned, build agents are where we're actually running the build configurations. This is going to be a really familiar concept if you're familiar with our on-premise product. We provide two ways for you to run your builds in TeamCity Cloud. So you can use the cloud-provided build agents. These are agents that we're managing at JetBrains, we're hosting, and what we do is we have a per build minute draw rate on those build agents. So we're providing Linux small and medium instances and Windows medium instances. Each of those have a different draw rate depending on the CPU and RAM requirements for each of those machines. And this is what we use by default. So you can exchange your build credits for build minutes in those environments. And if you're interested in seeing, how does build credits correlate to build hours on any of these instance sizes, you can use this drop down here, select the instance type you anticipate using for your build configurations. And you can see that, with the 80,000 build credits you get from 10 committers, that's going to equate to roughly 66 hours of build time on Linux Medium. So the JetBrains hosted build agents aren't the only way we can run builds in TeamCity Cloud. We also allow you to bring your own self-hosted build agent. So if you have existing hardware that you're running in on-premise TeamCity, or if you want to run a self-hosted build agent in a cloud environment like AWS or Google Cloud, you're certainly allowed to do that. For self-hosted build agents, what we're doing is we allow you to connect your self-hosted build agent for a flat rate, a flat monthly rate. It's 20,000 build credits per month. Once you connect that self-hosted build agent, you can run an unlimited number of builds. We're not going to draw additional build credits for builds that take place on self-hosted build agents. So there are a few differences between using the JetBrains hosted agents or self-hosted agents. With JetBrains hosted agents, we do allow you to run as many concurrent jobs as you'd like. So as quick as you can queue up builds in TeamCity Cloud, we will provide an agent to run those jobs. So you have unlimited concurrency with the JetBrains hosted agent. With the self-hosted agents, you can run as many concurrent jobs as you've purchased self-hosted build agents for. The one other thing I'll add here is we are working on a reservation system for JetBrains hosted build agents. And this could be useful in an environment where you anticipate a high utilization rate and you want to use the agents that we provide out of the box. With the reservation system, you are essentially reserving a build agent to be connected to your instance at all times. And this can provide some cost savings where you may have less concurrency, right? So you may not be able to run as many concurrent jobs, but you can use that build agent, really max it out and get better value for your build credits. So that's coming soon. Also coming soon, we're working on introducing Mac OS build agents and then other sized instance types for Windows and Linux. All right, so aside from using your build credits for build time and connecting self-hosted agents, we also allow you to flexibly redeem your build credits for other resources in TeamCity Cloud. So you can add additional committers with your build credits. A good example of when you may want to do this, let's say you're adding a team member on a short-term basis, maybe you have an intern coming this summer, you can add committers sort of on demand. These committers do not include additional build resources the same way your subscription committers do, but it does increase the number of committers that you can have building in TeamCity Cloud. So it can be good on a short-term basis or in a situation where maybe you undersized the number of committer subscriptions you needed. I'll also add that at any time you can increase your number of subscription committers. We'll prorate the term if you're in the middle of a month, depending on whatever your billing cycle is. We also allow you to exchange your build credits for additional resources. So that includes things like your data storage and your data transfer. And then finally, so while you do get a block of build resources for each committer you have, we also allow you to buy build credits on demand. You can buy build credits in blocks of 25,000. That starts at $20 USD. So your price is going to be in euros if you're in the UK, oh, not the UK, sorry, Daniel. If you're in the EU or elsewhere, but 25,000 build credits for $20. So what we tried to do with the TeamCity pricing is give you flexible ways to utilize these build credits. If you are coming from TeamCity on-prem and you're trying to estimate what your build credit needs might be or how many committers you have, I'd encourage you to get in touch with us. There are ways in on-premise TeamCity where you can see your build times for your projects. And we've also created a plugin that will show you how many committers you have over your last 30-day period. We're happy to share that with you if you get in touch. If you have other questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Let us know. What I want to do now, though, is I want to bring in my colleague Daniel, who's going to help us with some of the frequently asked questions. Hey, Daniel, how's it going?
Hey, David. I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Good, good. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're calling in from before we get started here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes, it's great to be here today, and I'm excited about the new TeamCity Cloud release. So just to introduce myself to everyone, I'm also a sales engineer on the TeamCity team alongside David. I'm located in Southern England, so I work with our customers and help our customers across Europe and further afield.
Yeah, great, thanks. So I think you have a couple of questions to help us kick things off. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, sure, that's right. So I guess the first question relates to a particular scenario. So say, for example, I'm an organization with maybe 5 developers. What would my costs be, and what do I get for that cost?
Sure. So let's take you through that situation. If you're a 5 developer team, let's anticipate that all 5 of those developers are going to be making 10 or more commits on a monthly basis. So we'll drop our committer slots down to 5. For 5 committers, that's going to be $75 per month. When we're billing annually, we offer both annual billing or monthly billing. The monthly billing is going to be a little bit more expensive, but you do get the added flexibility of being able to scale up or down on a month-to-month basis. So that's what your costs are going to be. As far as what's actually included, you can see that in the pricing calculator as well. For 5 committers, you're going to have 200 gigabytes of internal storage. These are for things like your artifacts. You're also going to get a terabyte of data transfer per month. And most importantly, for 5 committers, you have 40,000 build credits. Now, I think where some of our customers are going to have more questions is, okay, what does the 40,000 build credits actually get me? And again, that's where the dropdown can be helpful here. So if we come down to Linux Small, this is our cheapest build instance type. 40,000 build credits is good for 66 hours a month of build time. So these build credits do renew on a monthly basis. So that's 66 hours every month. As we mentioned, you could also add additional build credits on demand if you anticipate higher needs. From a self-hosted agent perspective, if you choose not to use the JetBrains hosted build agents, 40,000 build credits would be good for 2 self-hosted concurrent builds. So that's another option. And we do support a hybrid model. So if you want to connect some self-hosted build agents and build some projects with the TeamCity provided build agents, that's certainly an option as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for the breakdown. So for the number of committers, is the 3 minimum committers a requirement, or is there a plan to perhaps introduce any lower costs or free plans in the future?
Yeah, this is a question we've been receiving a lot lately. Right now, we do have a minimum committer requirement of 3. In the future, we're looking to offer both a lower tiered plan that may be more suitable for hobbyists, perhaps even a free plan. If you follow the cloud CI world at all, you may know that crypto miners are presenting a challenge for a lot of cloud CI providers with the free plan. So we need to work to find a way around that. But we are looking at introducing a lower cost plan. And on the other end of the spectrum, we're looking at introducing an enterprise tier in the future as well. That's going to give you a little bit more customization around your TeamCity server, perhaps stricter SLAs. So those are 2 of the roadmap items for us. But for now, yes, you do need to purchase a minimum of 3 committers.
Okay, that makes sense. So in terms of the hosted build agents that we get with TeamCity Cloud, what software is on there, and am I able to complement that with my own software?
Yeah, so the JetBrains hosted build agents do come. What we tried to do is we tried to put most of the common build software on those build agents. If you have specific requests, definitely let us know, because we're trying to gauge what software our customers are using and trying to make that available on demand. So in the TeamCity Cloud documentation, you can see a list of the software that comes pre-installed on the different build agents. I won't go through all of that right now, but you do have other options if you're using software that doesn't come pre-installed. So Marco mentioned one of the options on his talk earlier today. we do allow you to run build steps within a Docker container. So in this example, let's say you're running a Node, but you need a really specific version of Node that doesn't come pre-installed by default. What we would do is, we'll set our custom script to run the Node test, and then we will pull down the Node image with the version that we want to use. So I just pulled a random Node image here. That's one way you can utilize software that doesn't come pre-installed. Another option, if you need a custom piece of software, is you could install that software on the build agent through a build step. Keep in mind with both of these options, we are reinstalling that software on each subsequent build run because these build agents don't stick around for a very long time. So you just want to keep that in mind when determining, how big is that software package, how is that going to impact your run times. But there are certainly ways you can use the JetBrains hosted build agents with your own custom software.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that Docker support's really good. So are there any limits in terms of how many builds I can run in parallel with TeamCity Cloud?
Yeah, this is one of the big differentiators between TeamCity On-Prem and TeamCity Cloud. If you're using our JetBrains hosted build agents, as long as you have the build credits in your wallet, we'll continue running an unlimited number of concurrent builds. So as fast as you can queue up those builds, an agent will become available to take them. That can be extremely helpful if you're in periods of high development and perhaps your users don't like waiting around for an available build agent. But there's no limit if you're running the build agents where you're just paying for the build time. It's unlimited concurrency for these builds. When we introduce the reservation-based system for JetBrains hosted agents, there will be a limited concurrency depending on how many build agents you've reserved.
Okay, awesome. So earlier, Mark had talked about self-hosted build agents. Is there anything else I need to know about connecting self-hosted agents?
Yeah, so one of the interesting licensing models we chose for the self-hosted build agents, when you purchase a self-hosted build agent, what you're actually purchasing is a concurrent build on a self-hosted build agent. So what that means is, let's say you've purchased 2 self-hosted build agents, you can actually connect more than 2 self-hosted agents to your TeamCity Cloud environment. So I can imagine a scenario where you need a Linux machine, a Windows machine, and a Mac machine. You could connect all 3 of those to your TeamCity Cloud environment. And if you've purchased 2 self-hosted build agents, what TeamCity will do is it'll run 2 of those at a time. So if you might have builds waiting in the queue, but TeamCity will intelligently choose what are the next 2 builds that require a self-hosted agent, and it will run it on the right hardware, the right architecture. But you can connect more than just those 2 agents at a time. We're just limiting the concurrency on those self-hosted build agents. So our hope is this gives you a little bit more flexibility, better utilization of these build agents. We don't want you to have to go and manage, what build agent is connected to TeamCity Cloud at all times. Just connect them all and let TeamCity do its work.
Cool, sounds good. And going to talking about build credits now, what happens to any of my unused build credits at the end of each month? Do I have to use them, or what happens to them?
So with build credits that you receive through your committer subscriptions, so those are ones that are changing as we toggle the committer count here, these build credits do reset and renew at the end of each month. So you want to be mindful of that when you're trying to size how many committers or build credits you need. And again, that's something that our team can help you out with. So these do reset at the end of each month. However, if you're purchasing build credits on demand, so you're purchasing these blocks of 25,000 build credits, these do not expire. They carry over month to month. So we would recommend, if you have build requirements that are changing rapidly month to month, it might be a good idea to keep a block of these build credits in your TeamCity Cloud account so that if an emergency arises, a developer starts making all kinds of new build requests, that you have the available credits to run those builds.
Okay, awesome. And what happens if I accidentally exceed my build credit allotment or maybe max out my committer slots? Is it possible to exceed those allocation of credits?
Yeah, it is. So from a build credit perspective, let's say you run out of build credits, we're obviously going to stop running new builds. There's a short timeout period, so builds that are running may fail or they may finish if it falls within the timeout period, and you will need to refresh your build credit count by purchasing new build credits. You can do that with a credit card directly through our website, or you can get in touch with us if you need a quote, want to pay by bank wire or PO. If you run out of committer counts, we're a little bit more flexible. So let's say you have 10 committers and a new intern comes in, he makes a 10th commit, that would make him the 11th committer, but you only have 10 slots. Any commits that come from those slotted committers, those folks who have already taken up one of those slots, those builds will continue to run as normal. So you won't see any impact there. For that 11th committer who's made his 10th commit, builds authored by that user won't start in TeamCity Cloud until you add an additional committer slot. And again, you can do that by increasing your committer subscription, which you can do at any time during your billing period. Or if you have build credits spare in your wallet, you could add the additional committer on demand utilizing those build credits.
Okay, great. So at a high level, can you maybe talk about some of the differences between TeamCity Cloud and TeamCity on-premises in terms of any restrictions or any features that we get that aren't available in TeamCity on-premises?
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the most important question for a lot of our customers, especially if you're familiar with on-premise TeamCity. And I would encourage those customers to get in touch with us so we can have a more detailed conversation. By and large, the TeamCity that's available in TeamCity Cloud, you're going to be very familiar with it if you've used TeamCity on-premise in the past. Creating build configurations is the same, creating build pipelines, managing your projects, it's going to be largely the same experience. Now, because we are managing the TeamCity server component in TeamCity Cloud, there are some limitations, some restrictions as far as what you can do with the TeamCity server. I'll mention one notable example. If you're using a lot of third-party plugins that are plugins that aren't authored by us at JetBrains, you may want to get in touch with us to talk about what those plugins are because we won't allow you to install custom third-party plugins inside the TeamCity Cloud environment. So we are taking back some of the server control and management of that server environment. But the upside for you is, you're no longer responsible for managing those upgrades, managing the hardware, the architecture to run the TeamCity server. So to summarize, largely the same experience. Your build should import and export pretty smoothly from TeamCity on-prem to TeamCity Cloud, but you should be aware of some of the limitations. We're happy to discuss that with customers on a case-by-case basis because these TeamCity environments can get pretty customized.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. That was actually my last question. So thanks, David. I think that's really helpful to help go through some of these common questions. So all of our users have a sense of how the subscription works. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys. If you have any other questions, like I said, please feel free to get in touch with us. We're happy to help. Otherwise, please sign up for a trial and get started building.